20, what is it, Darrell? 23 minutes past 1, and a lovely story with which to end, and a sadness, because Luke McAdams will have been known to many of you. He was a dairy man. He spent his final days in St Columba's Hospice in Edinburgh. Well, look, in May this year, Mark Craig, who is always sees himself as a dairy man and was a good friend of Luke's, there's a whole team here involved with a big cycle from Edinburgh to Derry to raise funds for the hospice. Mark, how is your form today? Good afternoon. Oh, we've lost Mark on the line. We'll keep trying for Mark again. Listen, just to give you some of the information, as I was reading up on it before we came on air, we're all over 50, Mark had emailed to say, and we want to ride our bikes from Edinburgh to Derry over 3 days to raise money for the hospice who looked after our friend Luke McAdams in his last days. He was a Glenowen and then a Hatmore man and lived in Edinburgh with his wife Laura. Mark, we have you now, don't we?
Yes, I'm back, thanks.
I do apologise. Mark, I was just filling in some of the biographical detail. That's one thing. Look, tell me about Luke. What kind of a fellow was he?
Oh, Luke was a great friend, great character. He was always had stories to tell. He was one of these people, the smartest man in the room. You know, he'd always have some anecdote to tell you about something. Mm-hmm. Very generous with his time. Did a lot of work with running clubs in his adopted hometown of Edinburgh. And just one of these people who loved his life to the full, you know.
Yeah. And you lads went back, and a whole gang of you back to St Columba's College days.
Yes, and went way back before that. But we're friends from knee-high to the grasshopper and all that.
Mm. Look, people will know of his passing, but just briefly, what happened, Luke, Mark? We've lost again. Folks, we're struggling with our lines today, and it's always frustrating for all our team when that happens. Again, there's a whole connection, and there's a whole connection with Bradley's locally and Sims' family. And by the way, joining Mark on the cycle will include, at this stage, Eugene Rainey will be known to some of you. David Hay will be known to you. Some of you. Rick Alves will be known to some of you. And there's 3,000 in the pot already in terms of the fundraising. So we're hoping for big local support. And folks, I do apologise. There's nothing as frustrating when you've got a key guest lined up. Anyway, it's 3 days. They're doing it in May, folks. And with our technical difficulties today, I think we're going to have to come back to that one and focus attention elsewhere. Look, some of your other thoughts coming in this week, but you're with me, aren't you?
I am. Thank you, Mark.
I'm so sorry, man. You just get days like this. It's just, it's the luck of the draw in a sense.
Yeah,
Look, I was just asking you, listeners will know, and I've remembered, Luke, but you were talking about your old buddy there, weren't you?
Yes. So we're going to do a bit of fundraising for Luke to help the hospice that looked after him in his last days. He was able to spend his last days at home. I was with his family and his wife, and he's basically very well looked after. And I know, and many of your listeners will know how expensive hospice care is, and our contribution can help pay back a wee bit of that expense that is put out to look after people like Luke in their last days, give them that dignity and peace of mind that it's as good as it can be, you know.
Yeah. And just to be clear, was the hospice care across the water or here in Derry?
It was across the water.
Yeah.
It's St Columba's Hospice in Edinburgh.
St Columba's, is even an echo of home there?
I think it is. I think it's named after St Columba, the exile.
Of course, you're talking 1,600 years ago.
Yeah.
Look, it's a heck of a cycle. I mean, maybe we have to take a wee live piece on you in the month of May. Hopefully you get the weather, but you're all over 50, so there'll be a few sore backsides here. And I'm hoping a distinct fitness plan on hand here, is there?
We are going to suffer. None of us are pro cyclists. We're all family men. We'll do other things in our lives. And taking the long weekend in May, at the end of May, we're going to, over the 3 days, do the 270 miles in total. And we'll split over the 3 days, and as I say, I have to go backstage at the end of it.
Yeah, and I guess the beauty of the digital age is you can do all your fundraising. You don't have to have a bucket tied out the back of the bicycle. You know, you're going, I can't slow down to put my 20 pence, and you don't have to do it that way. The digital stuff sort of comes to your aid here.
Indeed. We've got a URL which I've passed on to your team. Hopefully we can get on your Facebook page later on.
Aye, or just which platform? We're allowed to mention the platform that you're working on. Which platform are you on?
Yes, it's on Just Giving, and
Just
I've got
Giving.
a short URL. It's only like 10 letters. If I could read out to you.
People will be out and about, man. You're better just saying the name of the page.
Yeah, it's justgiving.com, and it hopefully you can find it in support of Luke McAdams.
Luke McAdams. Listen, done deal. Mark, I'm sorry about our technical difficulties there, but the mission is clear, and hopefully listeners got the full picture there. Thanks for that. Mark Craig there, who will be known as X and Columns boy, as was Luke McAdams. So Just Giving, Luke McAdams, and there's £3,000 to the good already, but there's still to cycle. Folks, thank you for your company.